Catchweight interview number 17, Josh Wick, the White Mamba. First and foremost, before we even go further, let us talk about the shoutouts. Shouts out to First Round Management. Nico, thank you so much for lining up another awesome fighter. And Josh Wick, I couldn't be more grateful. It's wholeheartedly made my content better. I'm getting more attention because of it. He just has no obligation to do that, to find a lower podcast and give actual professionals to it, and he's doing it anyway. Obviously, like, this is good publicity for both of us, but at the end of the day, this is like really helping me in a big way, and I can't be more grateful. And then the second shout out is obviously Josh Wick. He's got a busy schedule of training and family, friends, work, all that stuff, and he's still found time to sit down and kick the shit with me for an hour. Awesome dude. And I'm excited to watch it. He's excited to watch fight. I just watched him fight. If you can, go Google him, go on YouTube. Go look up his fight against Alex Trinidad. Alex Trinidad puts him in a precarious situation early in the fight. It doesn't look good for Josh Wick. And if there's anything to give as far as like a label, like his fighting style, because he doesn't he'll say he doesn't have like a fighting style, and he's more of like the MMA today, where it's like be well rounded, which I feel like anyone should be in anything in life, but in fighting in particular, that's his ethos. Like, his ethos is like be good at as much shit as you possibly can, and he makes sure that he goes out and he does the right things to make himself a more effective fighter, a better athlete, whatever he's got to do. He's one of those guys where it's like, this is a lifestyle. This isn't a paycheck for him. He's not worried about branding. He's worried about winning. He's worried about his next fight. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of Justin Gaethje. So yeah, he finds that he's like spread eagle in this fight. And his balls are all over the place, and then he just weathers the storm. Like, he weathers the storm. He's calm. He's collected. He waits. He gets the submission. That's a culmination of many years of him training. But those elevation boys, they're not fucking around. Shouts out to Elliot Marshall at the Easton Gym over there. Creating these little monsters along with all these other people that he trains with as well too. We go more into it into the podcast. But he's one of those guys. He'll eventually get a contender series shot. And I'll be excited to watch him do it. Like, this is something that's like going to be in his horizon, and he doesn't have a fight lined up at this moment because he's nursing some injury. But the WXC is, all these places, Invicta, WXC, CFFC, all these quote unquote feeder leagues. These guys that do successful in these leagues end up getting those invitations over the Contender Series, and I don't see anything different for Josh Wick. I think this is going to be something that he's going to go ahead and make that jump for. Without further ado, we're going to have Josh Wick on. I'm trying to get. I'm definitely going to have an interview next week. It's between a couple people so far. I don't want to announce it just yet, but we're going to keep it rolling. Every week it seems to be the concurrent theme is to get the interview out there, create this content, get the name, get the brand out there. And but it makes it much easier when you enjoy doing something. I enjoy doing this. This is fun. I have fun doing this. I have fun getting to know fighters. And also, a lot of these fighters are able to impart upon me some inside knowledge, so I have an understanding of the landscape better. So that's it. Number 17, motherfuckers. We're kicking it. Josh Wick, White Mamba. I think he's the _White Mamba _155 on Instagram. If you want to follow me, at High Functioning Stupid on Instagram, Snapchat at dr.trey69. Someone took I'm not proud of it either, but like someone else took the name, so it is what it is. Let's get him on. We're gonna soldier through.
All right.
So you're under the White Mamba. Where did you come up with that White Mamba?
Curtis Blades gave me the name.
Oh yeah.
He told me He's like, hey man, if you come out to this, it was when I fought Johnny Tsunami in the RFA. He told me if I walked out to it, he'd give me $100. And he paid me.
You paid you?
I've been rolling with that shit ever since.
I like it. When I think of it, I think of Kill Bill. That's what I'm thinking of when I see it. That's some hard shit.
Uma Thurman coming for your ass. I'm gonna cut you up.
Yo, you got to come out in that same jumpsuit. The yellow jumpsuit.
That would be fucking tight.
Helicopter, the fucking bicycle or the bike helmet too.
Mm-hmm.
That's sick as shit. Mm-hmm. What's it like living? I wanted to visit Colorado so badly. What's it like over there?
It's pretty chill, man. Most people are pretty nice. You'll notice a lot of people here moved from elsewhere to live here
because of all the weed.
All the weed and shit. The shrooms now.
Mushrooms now.
Yeah, dude. And it's a pretty cool place to live. It's definitely getting expensive, but for the most part, people are pretty cool, and
that's what happens when the other country, Colorado's being gentrified by New Jersey right now. You don't know it yet, but as soon as all these people from New Jersey start moving over there, it's gonna be expensive as shit to live over there. So it is. Oh man, I live in New Jersey now. I live in South Jersey, like the least expensive part of it, but it's like to get like a 1 bedroom, it's like $1,035. Like up in North Jersey, it's like almost $1,500-$1,600.
Here in Denver, bro, for a 2-bedroom, it's like $2,600, man.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's like average, like around there, bro.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna stop talking all this shit on New Jersey because Colorado's just as expensive. Man. Oh man! So all right, so let's go in your background as far as like combat sports goes, and I mean if anything you want to talk about, really. But so how did you start? Where did this all begin? What's your background? Like, are you wrestling? Anything like that? I wrestled
a little bit when I was like really little, like when I was like 5 or 6, but I don't really take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I remember I was all right, and then I did Taekwondo after I failed at football. I kept hurting myself in football, and I wanted to do martial arts. So I started doing Taekwondo, and then got into kickboxing after, and then I had a kickboxing match. And I remember my coach was like, "You want to fight?" And I was like, "No, dude, I'll get my ass whooped." And they're like, "No, you'll be fighting somebody your own size." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll give it a try." And I won pretty quick, and I've just been hooked on that feeling ever since.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to,
And you
do
fight
something that not a lot of people can say.
Yeah, so. I mean, like, that's like the other big thing, right? Like with football, people like America. Football's America's sport, so I would say at some level, someone's been involved at football. If you're a male in this country, whether watching it or Little League or what do they call it? Pop Warner for kids or
Optimist.
Some
Optimist.
Flag football, some shit. Like, so they have like a full understanding to it. So to them, it seems like easy, like to just go out there and go do it because they thought, oh, it's just as easy because I fucking did it when I was 8 years old. So you guys can. And for fighting, nobody really fights. Like as far as like maybe they might do Taekwondo or boxing or karate or something when they're a kid and they don't really stick to it. But. It like no one understands like unless they've wrestled like what a weight cut is. I have no reference point. I've never done a weight cut before. I played football, so they were just like eat more food, get fatter, get bigger. You know what I mean? We don't care about your conditioning as much because we're gonna take you, put you on the sideline, put someone else in every now and then.
Yeah,
there's no subs in MMA, so you just gotta soldier on through forever, however many rounds you have.
It's the only sport you don't play.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. You train with your team, and there's like I'm sure there's that level of community and camaraderie within the MMA community.
Oh
because it's so tiny as far as like people who make it and continue doing it for a living. So it's like I understand what you're saying. Like it's a different. That's why I love watching it. I'm like a recent like fan of it. The first fight I ever saw was Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva, and the second time. And since then, I'm hooked. Like obviously I have a podcast on all this shit too, and I'm so honored that you have the time to come onto my podcast in your busy ass schedule.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Oh, 94. You're 1 year younger than I am. Young dude, killing it at WC. Your Tapology has you ranked pretty high. Number 1 in Idaho, number 2 in Colorado at 155, 15 in the U.S. or I'm sorry, 15 in the Midwest, and 36 in the United States for pro lightweights.
Yep.
So you're in one in the top as far as in this country. You're in one of the top promotions as far, and I believe in the WXC. How did you come across getting put into this position where you're fighting the WXC?
I got a new manager. I'm a part of first round management with Nico.
Shouts out to Nico.
And yeah, he got me the fight there. It was pretty close. I've fought back to back,
right?
A couple weeks back and forth, but yeah, it was pretty good. It was a good opportunity. Mm-hmm. I liked there's things I liked about the promotion. I didn't really like how small the cage was, but hey man, what are you gonna do?
So is that to encourage more confrontation versus like people like spacing out and using the cage against it? What's the strategy behind that? A smaller cage.
It definitely helps people who are more grappling based if they're going to be looking to clinch. Okay. You don't have as much room to run and play distance fighting.
Right.
But yeah, I just like the bigger fit. You almost feel claustrophobic a little bit. You're like, man, this fucking thing's small.
Fighting the gorilla in the phone booth type shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think part of why there's so many spectacular knockouts in the WXC too is because of that reason. It's because it's kind of like a smaller. It's like the argument for shortening the distance between the goals in soccer, so you get more points. You know what I mean? Or
but it still ends up 0-0.
Yeah. I can't stand soccer at all. I can't do it.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay. You're moving. So I don't know how closely you pay attention to your, to your, I guess the rank, or like, I don't know if there's rankings in the WC at all, really, as far as like who's the champion and stuff like that.
No.
I
don't pay attention to that, man, because you got to take it one fight at a time,
right?
Every time. I mean, every guy who's a pro is going to be tough in some way. Some guys are smarter than other people,
right?
I think that's probably why I'm seated higher than most dudes in my weight class.
Gotcha.
A lot of these guys just kind of, they go through the motions. Sometimes I get caught of it too, but I feel like the people who are more intelligent are the people that are the guys who are winning fights.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, anyone can get knocked the fuck out, right? You could be the smartest guy in the room, and still get landed on your fucking head. But I do believe that too. I think the people who encompass all of those things, the athleticism, the intelligence, you can be as athletic if you want. If you can't apply it anyway, or you don't have the skill level, then it's all for naught. I do agree with that, but the only reason why I brought it up is not because I want you to care about your rankings, but recently there's been a development between Austin Tweedy and Justin James at 155. Austin Tweedy is no longer going to be in that fight for now. I don't know what the implications are for and it's your division, so I was wondering where your headspace is at. As far as moving up and doing anything that, you know what I mean? Like you've got a great record. You're ranked pretty high. The same thing with Austin in that regard. Like, Austin's a really good fighter, and unfortunate things happen. And they gave him a shot because of his standing. So I was wondering like where your head's at with that as far as your division goes.
For the WXC or
for the WXC. Yeah. And I guess for that division in particular, the lightweight division.
Yeah. I've heard James is tough. I've looked up a couple of his fights. Yeah. Tweedy, obviously, we have the same manager.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate he hurt his ribs or whatever. Yeah. But I think they got a replacement. He's fighting some dude who's like, he's got a gang of fights. He's like 23-16 or something.
Oh shit! I did not know they got a replacement.
Yeah, I saw it today on my Instagram feed.
Okay.
But yeah, I was looking at that. So it is what it is. I think everybody has their time. Everybody is on some nights, and some nights they're off. So
no, I mean, what wasn't even a knock on Tweety. Just a matter of like, is that ever something you're thinking about, like being in the same division, especially if somebody that's a part of your management company? Like, would you ever thrust yourself just in the future? Would you ever thrust yourself in that? They found somebody else. I didn't know that. I was getting around. I was getting around the idea of like, would you ever thrust yourself into that situation where you can be like, well, I'll fucking fight him. Like, you know what I mean? Like for like a championship type.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if I'm healthy, I've been training already, and things are looking good, I've been sparring good, I don't see why not.
Right.
You know, where I'm at right now, I mean, my feet are a little messed up, so I've just been mostly boxing.
What happened? What happened to your feet?
Kicking that dude in the calf my last fight,
Okay.
and then the fight before that, I actually got put in a toe hold, kind of fucked my foot up.
Yeah, those are not fun.
But yeah, so I've been trying to ice them as much as I can and just do what, train what I can for now,
Right. Right.
So,
I mean, they have plenty of shit lined up. I love these Warrior Wednesdays they're doing on Fight Pass.
yeah.
I just feel like this is the best time to be like a fan. Every day there's like a new thing that you can watch that's fight related.
Yeah.
Whether it be kickboxing or Muay Thai or one of the feeder leagues at like the CFFC or the WXC Invicta, like all of these talented people are finding their way to these promotions now, including yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've always been a big fan of the sport, man. I've been watching it since Ultimate Fighter Season 2 finale.
Right.
That was the first time I ever seen anything go down. And, yeah, it's seeing it grow, dude. Like, from 10, like, even if you're watching Rich Franklin versus Anderson Silva,
right?
Like, the skill level isn't even close to what it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you watch that fight and then you watch a fucking 125-pound matchup, like Formiga, you watch, some of those guys, you watch Sergio Pettis fight, and you're like, holy shit!
Yeah,
there's levels to this. It's not even the same.
I just recently interviewed Norbit Noveni in Bellator. He's this 19-year-old kid fighting out of England. His father was an Olympic wrestler, boxer. Was an Olympic wrestler. I think I'm pretty sure he medaled. And this kid is like he's only got 3 or 4 fights in, but the way all these people in our age group, like 25 and under, like that are coming into the sport now, are coming in fucking hot. Like yeah, the athleticism's different. Like you're 100% correct. The athlete, you look at the athletes in like the 70s and 80s. It's like, well, maybe not the 80s as much, but like the 70s with the tube socks and shit. It's different. It's completely different. I don't know if that's because of like milk,
EPOs,
EPO. But it's like, even like I do understand why. It's because now we've got this backlog of all these kids who've just been watching fighting, like at least for 10 years or at least for 5 years or whatever it is. So they're like downloading all that information. And now, you even hear about it on Joe Rogan's podcast and other people's podcasts. Like now there's like these MMA gyms everywhere. You don't have to do just Taekwondo, or you don't have to do just karate or just box. You can go to a gym that specializes in a bunch of things in one area, and you can like become a well-rounded fighter. In your case, especially not your case, but where you train out of now. That's those that they have the Easton gym there. I think what else? What other things do they work out of your gyms there? Like
it's mostly tying stuff together. Like a lot of our drills that Elliot will run us through is it's going from punches to takedowns to get-ups, you know what I mean? And the in-between gray area positions a little bit. Mostly just tying it up together, level changes, faking shots into punches and kicks.
Right.
Yeah,
Dope. So as far as that goes, how would you describe your style? Like if you had to put your style and your points on paper, like I see heel hooks in your wins. As far as like other things here, arm bars. Are you more of like a grappling oriented fighter?
No, I'm actually not. It's just that's my roots. I mean, I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was 13, so almost 11 years now.
Right.
And that was kind of I started kickboxing and everything, but jiu-jitsu, I've always been taught that to keep yourself safe, jiu-jitsu is the way to go. I don't know. Sometimes I think we all change. The older we get. My fighting style, I try to be, like water. Try to be good at you should try to be a black belt at everything.
Right.
If you're gonna do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no point in being like, I'll be okay at this and okay at that. I'll be awesome at this.
And that exact voice too.
Fuck that. I mean, I move around a lot. I mean, I don't really know how to explain my style.
It speaks even further credence to what we were talking about before, right? Like, the days of being just the Taekwondo guy that picked up all the other stuff are like or picked up grappling, or just the Muay Thai guy, or just the karate guy, that's your specialization, and then you picked up those other things along the way. That it seems like those days are going to be long gone soon. I do think there's merits to having just that awesome specialization in one thing, and then picking up those other things.
Sure. Oh yeah.
But I just feel like you can learn so much more, like doing all those things at once, like you're doing now. Like it's great. It's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal.
Putting it all together.
Yeah. So what do you? I saw on your Instagram you do some hunting out there. Do you out there in Colorado? Or do you travel?
No, my dad actually owns property in Oregon, so I go every year, kill a buck, kill an elk, kill something. You
get any shit for posting those pictures up there of the animals? No, nothing.
No. They look pretty. Come on, man.
I was at a bar with my dad. I think it was for like his wedding or something. It was like a little bit before his wedding, and some lady. It's like a hunting area. This area I'm at, there's like a lot of people that go hunting in the morning and get beer apparently at 6 a.m.
Sure. Yeah.
and then go out. So there's like a lot of hunters in the area, and this woman's sitting there, and she's got like her hunting gear on and shit, and this other woman up here just starts screaming at her, like how could you kill a deer? And we're all just like looking, and she's not even drunk, she's just upset about her hunting, and she looked at me, and she's like, this woman kills deer, and I'm like, okay, like what do you want me to do about it? Like, what do you want me to tell her to stop? First off, I can't stand deer because there's so many of them, and I hit them with my fucking car, and I damage my car because they just jump out in the middle of the street. Because there's just so many of them. So kill as many. If you could kill 30 deer for me on your next venture, Josh, I would
just for her.
Yeah, just for her.
Just to shut up the feminists. Yeah. Listen, honey, take a walk. Talk about this when you want to talk about it like adults.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been hunting myself, but my family, all my family's from Texas. They've been into it. When they went to Alaska, they were hunting there. I can't afford a gun, so I'm not fucking hunting anytime soon. But I think there is a ton of merit to like going out and getting your own food. It's probably definitely way less strain on the environment because you're not relying on cow farms.
Well, that, and the meat itself is, I know, we're not injecting that shit with anything, you know what I mean? They're just they're frolicking around the mountains. You know what I mean?
Right before you take their lives.
I don't have to, pray that 30 years down the road, they put some shit in my food that's causing me a disease of sorts, Yeah. It's clean food. It's lean meat. It's probably the best you can get.
Do you ever like worry? Speaking about, I guess back in the ilk of fighting. Do you ever like? I don't understand, and again, this could just be my my ignorance on I guess the idea behind it. But you see guys that get popped all the time for anything. And sometimes those things seem legitimate as far as like, well, I took this supplement and it's in it. And I didn't know. Now it doesn't seem too. Yeah, now.
Force me, bro. Dude, it was my doctor. I had no idea.
So what I'm gathering is you have no sympathy for any of that shit.
You guys are all pussies, man. There's not many real motherfuckers left.
You heard it here first.
They're all pussies. Look at Vitor, bro.
Yeah.
That motherfucker.
Yeah.
That motherfucker. Even when he was 19 years old, you could see it, dude.
Yeah.
You could see it in between these fights, and it's like, come on. Let's be real.
To be fair to him, wasn't he taking testosterone, like the allowed amount in testosterone at the time?
Because he fucked himself by doing steroids when he was 19 years old. You fuck. Of course. Of course. I don't have sympathy for that guy.
Yeah.
Because he murdered some dudes that he shouldn't have been able to murder.
Right.
But you know what I mean? When he beat Rockhold, dude, that guy was so sauced.
Yeah.
He was sauced out of his fucking mind. Jesus, dude.
But okay, so now that we know your sentiment behind it, like, obviously that's never going to be like an issue for you because you're not worried about taking a supplement that's going to show up in a piss test like later on. Like, so I just wanted to, I guess, some education like as to, is there any merit to any of those, like any of those cases that have come up? Like, do you think there's any merit to any of them? Because like I've been side-eyeing John Jones since he came back to fight OSP, because he came out of nowhere. He's like, no, I'm just gonna start deadlifting 700, 800 pounds. I'm like, no one's gonna call attention to this right now. So, or like just like anyone else who's been pissed hot. And most recently, who fought this weekend, Anderson Silva pissed hot twice. I think he pissed hot. So, what are your feelings towards their legacies, like as people who like are some of the regarded as some of the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I think, yeah, they're good martial artists, but
yeah.
I think in Brazil, for one, I know that steroids are cheaper than protein powder.
100%.
So I can't really say anything. I fought a guy from Brazil that was on steroids, and I beat him. So sometimes.
So as a person that has fought somebody that you know is on steroids, can you tell me like what the difference is like against somebody who isn't like I played football against people who are on steroids before, and it feels like you can definitely feel the difference as soon as you make contact. Like as far as like their size, their build, and just like their freakish strength with like how little they're moving.
There's different types of steroids, and I know this because I used to be teammates with TJ,
okay.
And he sure knew an awful lot about steroids for a guy who's never done them.
Oh shit!
But there's one that leans you out,
yeah,
and it's like most athletes take that one. Mm-hmm. You don't actually lose any muscle. You're losing weight and sustaining your muscle, and it's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up. The other one is more of a bulker.
Yeah.
I don't know what one he got, but he got popped by the Utah Athletic Commission.
Right.
So that's how I know he was on the sauce.
Right.
But yeah.
Insane.
I don't know. Most of the ones that they're doing though, it's like an EPO type shit. You know what I mean? Like you won't have any lactic acid buildup.
Well, that's the other thing about USADA. They're just like, oh, we didn't test for EPO, our bad. Like, what? That's isn't that the whole?
Well, they're owned by the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The drug testing company should come from an outside source.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, I'm pretty sure the NFL doesn't govern their own drug tests. I'm pretty sure they're done.
I don't know about that. They get away with a lot of shit. Like a lot of those guys. I would say 95% of those people are on steroids.
Oh yeah. Well, different sport.
Yeah.
You know,
they're just not allowed to be like outwardly like, we support it. We have to be like, it's bad. It's illegal. Don't do it. You know. I think that's kind of like what mixed martial arts is. Like the mainstream promotions are kind of doing. As far as like they can't condone it, but they're not going to like the NFL. If you get caught, like Brian Cushing, I don't know if you know who Brian Cushing is for the Houston Texans, but he got caught like 6 times on steroids, and like he got caught like a bunch of times, and like, no press conferences. He just like was just like, you got me, you know. So at that
take the hit.
Yeah, they just take the fine, and he'd been playing for so long, he made millions of dollars. He's just like, if I'm gonna get caught, I'll just get caught. Like, I'm not gonna stop taking steroids. So.
That's what we do.
Yep.
That's what we play for. Steroids.
You know, but
yeah,
I
don't sweat it. He's making millions, dude.
Yeah.
Like even the guys who got popped. I mean, John Jones. Yeah, he's made a couple mil.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, man. I just feel like there's so much that I wish fighters got paid more. I think everybody does. But
yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna. I don't know like what the deal is as far as like getting players unions together or fighters unions together, because that to me seems like how you get those benefits, because that's how.
But nobody who's in is going to be willing to do it because out of fear.
Right, because it's not a team sport. I mean? There's no one to fall back on.
Exactly.
You get
and I mean the only people that are going to be on the union are people that are retired or on their way out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Someone's going to have to make that
point. It's kind of a shitty thing. I know about the Muhammad Ali Act that they're trying to pass.
What is that?
So in boxing, there used to be for Muhammad Ali that he had all the Parkinson's and shit. You know, We're really putting our lives at risk going out there every time. You know, we put it on the line. And the boxing commissioners, they used to take 80% of the profits and give 20% to the fighters, which is currently what's happening in MMA.
Right.
But with the Muhammad Ali Act, they were forced to do it the opposite. They're supposed to pay the fighters 80% of the revenue, and 20% goes to the promotion.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, definitely, I definitely want the fighters to get paid way more money than they make now. It's fuck. You guys are getting nickels on the thousands of the thousand. You know what I mean? So I understand that. But if it's 80-20, does that degrade the product? Like, are they going to have a less of a production value or less of a?
I don't think so, because I mean, pay-per-view's kind of dying.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's going. That's why they're doing the ESPN and ESPN Plus deals. Even boxing, they don't really do pay-per-views anymore. I know. What's the thing that they just did?
That was
Canelo's last fight.
It was Canelo and some guy. I don't remember who the guy was.
Yeah, no, I seen that guy fight Triple G too. No, he's actually pretty tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's coming into effect, and boxing's been around way longer. But I mean, I think you look at the stats. You look. Canelo made $35 million.
Yeah.
And you got this badass motherfucker named Cerrone who made $400,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like,
it's not a matter.
You're like, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure there's just as many people tuning into this fight as there was in the Canelo fight.
That was gonna be my next point. Like, you can, and if you just take the UFC aside, right? Like, put Donald Cerrone aside. Like, I don't know who Donald Cerrone is. If you go to like one championship, who they pay their guys handsomely,
nine figures, dude.
Yeah. If you go to the one championship, it's like millions of people watch one championship. So it's not a mad, and not like the UFC also. But if the argument's like, well, okay, well, that's just Americans or whatever the case may be, and like, first off, this sport started like because of Brazil, like or not just because of Brazil, but because Brazil was so dominant with the Gracie family and all that shit. Just that pedigree coming in here, and then just all these athletes coming up. The intrigue is there, so we can't say, well, they're not. It's because they're not drawing attention. Like, well, no, clearly there's you're on ESPN now. You know what I mean? You're on ESPN now. You can get DAZN app and watch Bellator on it or whatever. So there's a huge marketplace here, and it's like kind of like a logical fallacy to be like, oh, well, we don't make that much money. I'm like, well, no, you do. You make plenty of money. Just maybe like you said, maybe the model's not the best model anymore, and we need to pivot to something else. And I think that's kind of what they're doing with these apps.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Yeah, we got a UFC fight for you.
Okay.
You're going to fight the baddest motherfucker in the whole world.
Yeah.
It's a world champion in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
How's $5,000 sound? Sounds like a deal, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, how much are you going to make? It's almost like it's like a better version of like college football where they can make multi-billion-dollar programs, and if you tear your ACL or if you get too many concussions or if you flunk out of school, you get fucking nothing. You get $0 down for all the hard work that you put in since you were 10 years old, 9 years old to get to the point where you're at. And the big cop out is like, well, they can just have, and it's not even, I don't even think it's mandatory. I think if you get hurt, you're not in school anymore. I don't think, unless that's your thing or not. I'm not sure. But yeah, that argument that there's not enough money to go around is, I mean, if there wasn't enough money to go around, we wouldn't have the products that we have. So and I think now with social media and being able to have management companies like First Round and kind of taking advantage of that intrigue where you can call people out on Instagram for fights that were not going to be lined up, and if there's enough people that pay attention to it, you will get that fight. It's crazy. So like you can and I feel like a lot of that change is happening now while the sport is growing. So I hope one day we're all going to get those, or not we, but you guys get those one championship salaries that you're putting in, because at the end of the day, like, if you're not making enough money to support yourself and how are you expecting the fighters to get better? Like, if you could make a decent wage, like, let's just say a livable wage, right? Like, you get a guaranteed, $100,000 or whatever, or 50, or between 50 and $100,000 based off of like how well you do. Like, that's going to go into, if you're good, it's going to go into your training. You know what I mean? It's going to go into your training. It's going to be taking care of your body. It just kind of seems like we're muffling the potential of the players or the fighters in this case.
Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, I feel like if you put guys on salary, they definitely wouldn't fight as hard. Like I'm getting 120 grand just for doing that.
Yeah, well,
I just show up.
the way you mitigate that is having tournaments. You can win more money if you do well, if you make it to the playoffs, right? So if you watch basketball, there's 1,000 games in the regular season that 10 people watch, and then once it starts getting to the end, and they're trying to make it into the playoffs, you see some best basketball. I don't watch basketball, but I'll watch playoff basketball. Like it's phenomenal. Now you might water down the sport in that midterm, like where the regular season is, but I just think you're going to start putting yourself in a better position to make it into the. That's what the PFL does. The PFL has a regular season. They have playoffs, and then they have the championship.
Yep, and the playoffs, you can fight twice in one night.
Yeah, that's crazy as shit.
Two round fight and then a 3-round fight. So they get away with that from the athletic commissions from the 5-round, which is cool.
I'm not against it because like if you've wrestled before, like you've done that already. Like more.
I mean, it's definitely some shit can happen though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like we're fucking wrestling.
Yeah.
Like you kick a knee and you're like, oh shit, my foot's broke. Got to go fight again. That's no joke, bro. That's no joke.
I know, but people fought on worse.
Yeah, dude, my buddy Bojan fought in the PFL tournament last year.
Oh yeah,
and he got hit by a car, bro. Like a week before the playoffs.
Christ.
A week before the playoffs.
Yeah,
and then he fought 3 times, or no, twice. He fought both fights in the playoffs. And dude, like he went through the fucking ringer, man. Nobody even knows what he had to go through.
Is there a losers bracket? Because I remember seeing, was it Joe Schilling? He fought that Ray Cooper guy. And then
No, Joe Schilling don't fight the PFL.
Who the fuck was it?
Nah, he ain't. I know. No. Jake Shields.
Jake Shields. I was like those two guys confused all the time.
No. So what they do, all you got to do is win one regular season fight,
right?
And then you can get into the playoffs.
Right.
So he was the number 1. Cooper was number 1, and then Jake was number 8 because he barely made the playoffs.
Right.
But, yeah, it's cool to see.
Yeah, I watched. This was a really good. Did you watch any fights this weekend at all?
Dude. Oh, I watched the LFA fights. I didn't watch the UFC fights.
LFA is really good too. I've seen there's a ton of people that come out of LFA that like make it to the any one of the promotions really.
Yeah. LFA is pretty. There's some good fights on LFA. They definitely put on, reasonable matchups.
Yeah.
You don't see too many mismatches. You see it mostly with the women.
That's
fighting there.
With that's on Access TV, I think.
Yep.
LFA. Yeah, that's some tough shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw this week. I saw the PFL on Friday. Saturday, that crazy fucking upset, but not upset, but because Douglas Weeman's like really good. Like Douglas Weeman MVP. Did you happen to see that fight?
I saw the highlight.
Yeah, I mean it was but 2. The first round was them feeling each other out. The second round, Lima had done all the calculations he needed to do in order to seal the deal.
That calf kick, baby.
Yeah, you can see him throughout the fight, like timing that lunge that Michael Venom Page does.
That's money. That lunge is money, dude. When it works, it works.
Yeah.
But he knew what he was gonna go for, and fucking MMA is a crazy sport, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I felt like his last few fights have been lackluster in the eyes of the people watching it. I enjoy watching him fight because of the way he moves, and how he's able to cancel people's abilities basically out from them being between Rickles and Daly, and I forgot the other guy before that was, but. That style he has is so flashy, and obviously he's flashy, but and in this circumstance, Lima's came out the better fighter. Do you how does that type of I think that's a little bit indicative of like him falling to that pressure. How do you handle pressure in those situations? Like, because the WXC is like a pretty good. I mean, they draw crowds from what I see. Like those are some pretty decently sized crowds. Like. What do you feel going into the cage like getting ready for that fight? What is your preparation like?
Every fight's a little different for me, dude. Yeah. Depending on what's going on in your life, Yeah. I've actually always done pretty well when I have like a slight handicap going in. You know what I mean? A real desire. One time I fractured my right hand, and then I cut for whatever reason. I was weight cutting and I cut my hand hella bad, and basically I was fighting with basically a broken hand and a hand that was bleeding every time I jab with it.
Oh Jesus!
And yeah, but I mean, I went out there and dude, I mean, I was more focused than I've ever been going into that fight than I had for any other fight. You know, it just depends. I mean, my last couple of fights, it's been more like just stay loose, stay relaxed, have fun, And I'm still figuring it out, to be honest, man. Because when I get it right, there's nobody that can beat me.
Yeah, I mean, like how many fights do you have in total?
15 pro fights.
15 pro fights.
7 amateur fights. 6 kickboxing matches. Bunch of jiu-jitsu matches, wrestling.
So I mean, like, it's not like you haven't fought in front of crowds before. So it's like, or competed in front of a crowd before. So that stuff is gonna come, I guess, more. But do you feel like you're making those adjustments like every time you step into the octagon? Or I guess is it the octagon, the WXC? It's the octagon, right?
It's just the cage, man.
Cage.
It's just the place.
It's
all the same. No matter where you fight, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just depends on how you feel. And what you've done to prepare, and how motivated and focused your mind is. Because sometimes it can be easy to be complacent.
I would imagine.
But but when you're focused and you're ready, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's when it is. It's that fire. I have it. I just gotta harness it.
Right. I mean, like, obviously you're a formidable athlete. You've been involved in sports most of your life.
Yeah.
Like, the majority of it. I mean, you're only 24 now, but you have uncapped potential. And it's going to be interesting to watch how you move on, to move forward. It'd be interesting to see. So I don't know if I haven't really seen. I've only seen like the fights on the Contender Series. But I don't know. Is it anything structured at all? Like the Ultimate Fighter, where there's like the media like in your face with the cameras and I guess that reality TV show element like to it at all? Is there like a show attached to Contender, or is it just straight up like no?
It's just for the Contender Series you show up just like a regular fight. I'm sure they do like a little bit of a preview before the fight. Yeah. And then they do the post-fight interview. Pretty standard. I mean, there's not too much of a reality on it. Right. And I mean, you're not getting paid as much as a UFC fighter, but you're making more than you would on the regional circuit. Right. But yeah, eventually I'd like to fight for them for the Contender Series. Right. We'll see what happens.
I mean, like, you're putting yourself in a good position, right? I mean, a lot of these guys that I've talked to, the WXC have been extended offers through the Contender Series, or they're on their radar and they're thinking that's going to be the next thing. The WXC, the CFFC, Invicta, those are all basically what you would consider a developmental or feeder league. I don't like saying developmental as much because like you guys seem pretty good, like coming out. It's not like you're trying. I mean, some people are just like freaks and they figure it out along the way, or they're really good athletes and they figure it out along the way. But it just seems like at a certain stage, which is like what I would put you and Tweety and Justin James and whoever else at the top there. You guys seem ready to go out of the gate, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. I do want to see you make that jump. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I beat one guy that got on there.
Oh yeah,
he fought last weekend in the UFC. Yeah, he fights at 35 now.
You changed his whole outlook on 155.
Yeah, or 45. Yeah, but 45? It was a. Yeah, me at 40, like I would go 45, man. I just need time to fucking actually make it.
Yeah, it's hard.
There's there's other people that are gonna have to get involved. So just like, I mean, last time I went to 45, it really hurt my body. Right. Took my body like 2 months just to recover, like my kidneys and my liver. But I can make the weight. It's a little bit of dedication.
It's hard. It's hard as shit.
It's hard as fuck, and I have to change my lifestyle. Yeah.
Can we talk about any of those lifestyle changes? Like, I haven't really talked to anybody about weight cutting before. So somebody like yourself who's got not difficulty because you can make the weight. It's just harder for you to do it.
No. I mean, I go to death levels of my kidneys were shutting down, man.
Jesus.
like your liver is palpitating. You're like you can feel your insides trembling. Like
my God.
walking up the stairs, your heart is so elevated that you're out of breath. You stand up too quick, you pass out. I mean, these are not. I mean, it's fucked up, man.
Do you think you should? But that being said,
the first time I fought a lightweight was like the first time that I actually felt good.
Yeah.
Like I walked in the cage and I was like, wow, I'm not stuck in the mud and my kidneys aren't like pulsing. This is crazy, man. I didn't get tired in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Elliot was even talking about that when I had him on. He was talking about like, because he's a big fucking guy. What is he, like 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah, 6'3", 6'4", something there.
He's
somewhere
big,
there.
He's a big guy. He's a big frame. So to cut down to 205, I would imagine, and he had to do it without a scale. They weren't going to bring him a scale. And he did it by himself.
To be fair,
yeah,
I'll be 100% honest.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand with the big guys, but it's not as hard as it is for the little guys. We have less to lose. You know what I mean? For losing for him, losing 30, 40 pounds would be the same as me losing 15 to 20.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
He just has a bigger frame. There's more to lose.
Right.
It's easier to lose.
Right. And I wouldn't necessarily call you a fatty, and not him either. But you're not necessarily a fat guy. So you're right. There's not really much that's like vital organs and shit. That's obviously your shit starts shutting down. So let me ask you this then, right? So knowing all those things, do you think that should be allowed? Like, do you think what are your feelings on weight cutting?
I have a lot of mixed feelings because obviously I don't mind fighting dehydrated dudes.
Yeah.
Who are like that.
Yeah.
It's actually easier to knock people out when they've been dehydrated like that.
I would imagine.
Your brain doesn't recover. It takes a whole week to recover.
Right.
Your body might be replenished, but your mind won't. I feel the people that are doing it, they'll eventually. It's going to get harder and harder every time you cut. It's going to get harder the next time, and it might be not this fight, but it might be the next two fights down the road that you might have to be hospitalized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there should be more weight classes. They can do whatever they want.
I think so.
I'm good at 55. I can make 55 in a week's notice.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to have found your niche. Guys are size. I mean, like, you look at the list of guys who've been successful. Like bigger. You're what are you, like 5'9"?
Yeah.
5'9", 5'10". 5'9", 5'10". So what do you walk around at, like 170 pounds? 175 pounds?
100, right now I'm like 170, 76 or something like that. But if when I'm in shape, I'm like 168.
Right.
Right.
So it's not like a. I mean, like you said before, you're smaller than you are a bigger guy. Obviously, the metrics are different. But it is easier for you to make 155 as a result instead of 145.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it too, because like you see how other organizations do it, and like some of them have it down to a T. And I think the hydration factor is the other big thing, like how it's structured in certain promotions versus others. Eddie Alvarez was talking about how different the hydration is in one championship. And he's a guy that's about your size too. So yeah, that's So what if you could add a weight class, right? What is it, 160? I think it's like 160, 165.
It's 165. I wouldn't fight at 65.
Yeah, you get some big motherfuckers show up.
Yeah, I wouldn't fight there.
Yeah.
There's no point.
Yeah.
I mean, even catchweight fights, I wouldn't even take. The highest I would go would be like 160 if there was a short notice fight,
Right.
But I'm not gonna go. I like staying down,
Yeah.
A lot of times with the weight cuts, it's almost like a fight before the fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, you are literally killing yourself to fucking step on the scale, and then once it's all done, you're like, hell yeah, I'm done. Oh fuck, I gotta fight in a cage tomorrow. Oh shit, I just did all that.
Yeah.
Like every time I make 45, I was like, I won. And I'm like, you gotta fight. I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, I already won the fight. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I guess that's what separates the men from the boys, right, and the women from the girls is that, and why this sport is so available to such a small amount of people is because that weight cut when you're sitting in that fucking sauna it's gonna really challenge how much you really want to be there, how much you really like this shit. So you're a special breed, man, Mr. Wick. Yep. How many John Wick jokes do you see on a regular basis?
Nah, I get a couple, but I roll with it. It's whatever. I tell people he's my big brother.
I would
like, yeah,
Keanu Reeves.
Chip off the old block.
Keanu Reeves actually, I think he's got like he's got some actual background in some martial arts.
I think he actually he does have a jiu-jitsu. He does do jiu-jitsu. I can't remember if he's like a blue, purple, or brown belt, but he's up there. He's been rolling for a little while, I think. No, I fucking can't wait to watch that movie, man.
It looks crazy as shit.
Oh, dude, all of them. It's just reckless gun violence.
That's all you want.
That's all I need. As an American.
I don't need. I don't need backstory. I just need Keanu Reeves shooting people in the face, stabbing people.
It's about a dog. That's all I need to know. Kill him.
a man and his dog. The most American movie. Although he's like a Russian hitman, he's not really American.
He can be whatever he wants.
That's right.
He's my hitman.
Is he our Chuck Norris?
He is. He is.
Chuck Norris could probably fuck him. And Chuck Norris is prime. He's probably fucking out Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, bro. Walker Texas Ranger Chuck Norris for sure.
Oh, that's a different animal. I'm so mad you remember Walker Texas Ranger. I thought that was the only person I remember.
I used to love that show. That's pretty much why I started Taekwondo, man.
Are you serious?
Walker Texas Ranger was the shit.
That was a good ass TV show.
Yeah, it was, man. I actually rewatch him still to this day.
I don't remember. I think it was like Lifetime. I don't know why it was on Lifetime, but Walker Texas. I guess women in their 40s are like beating off to Chuck Norris. As a Texas Ranger. His jeans.
Rubbing their clips. Yeah, you can come to my house anytime, Texas Ranger.
Well, that's just about all I had. I had a blast. You're more than welcome to come back and talk anytime, any stage.
For sure.
Whenever you want. Even, shoot me a text. You just want to kick the shit. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your business schedule. I know I'm positive it's busy. Every fighter. I don't know how all you guys do it. I don't know how you guys manage. Like I work 2-3 jobs, but it's like I don't have to weight cut. I don't have to go. I like to do like some kickboxing now and then just so I can just do it. I like doing it. Some boxing and some grappling, but you guys somehow manage to have your whole normal life, and sometimes you have to act some of your normal life out. I understand that.
Yeah.
And then also balance, your professional. Some of you have professional jobs, and then also find time to train and do all that shit. It's very admirable. So thank you so much for taking the time, man. Is there anything that you want to plug? As far as upcoming events, businesses, anything you need to talk about.
Shit, man, it's hard when you put me on the spot. But I want to thank my sponsors, Tiger 2. They've always been there since day one. Check them out. They have a bunch of clothing brands, a couple UFC fighters that rock them too. So check them out. TIGAUT or TU. Blah. Good enough. I gave them a shout.
We got as much as we can get out of it for it. So
don't worry, there's always next time.
There's always listen. There's always going to be next time because the door is always available. I had a great time, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good one, man.
Peace.
Peace.